Hi, this is Pastor Bob. Don't worry, I'm not driving. Some of you are a little upset because I drive and podcast, and I've decided not to do that anymore. It makes some of you feel uncomfortable, and my dad corrected me on this too. He said, you really shouldn't be driving and podcasting, and so no more will I drive and podcast. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. So I'm sitting at a car wash. I've just driven here. My car is really dirty, and I'm waiting for my turn. And I've just been driving, and I realize I have a huge pet peeve. And that pet peeve has to do with people who don't use their turning signals. Are you one of those? You know, we're supposed to. It's the law that you use your turning signal when you turn, when you change from one lane to another lane. And I live in Nashville where people just don't use them. You kind of have to guess what everybody's doing, which makes it a little difficult sometimes. And I just almost had a major accident on the interstate, on the freeway, a little while ago. I was changing lanes, and another person was changing lanes. They didn't have their turning signal on. I did. And it was because I did that we avoided the accident, but we almost ran into each other. You know, that would be enough for me to be reminded to use my turning signal. It probably wasn't for them. But, you know, I grew up using it, and when I learned how to drive, I learned to make it automatic. Every time you turn, you automatically turn your turning signal on, and I always do, even if I'm at the end of my driveway. Seriously. Where there's no other cars around, I use my turning signal. I'm just used to it. It's automatic. And I think that's the way it really ought to be. Now, I get disgusted at those people on the freeway because it's a law. You are supposed to do it. If it was a suggestion, I may not feel as strongly about it. And so it is with sin. You know, some of us have those same kinds of judgments when it comes to sin. We feel like other people shouldn't be getting away with things because it's the law, or at least it's the law in the Bible. And when we look at other Christians who are in sin, we begin to shake our fingers, we begin to be very judgmental, and we don't like what they're doing because it's the law. Why does it affect us so much? Why does it bother us so much? One of the reasons? We're jealous, seriously. We're jealous that they get to sin and we don't. That they're getting away with something that we're not. And honestly, folks, that is a lot of it. There are some people that mourn for other people's sins, and there are some that are in judgment of other people's sins. Now, if you're mourning for their sins, you have the right attitude. Because we've been set free from sin, and I honestly feel bad for people that are still in sin, that haven't learned that they have victory in Jesus Christ. And I realize that they're not living the best life. And that becomes my heart because I have a relationship with Jesus, and I know that there's a better way. And I don't point my fingers, and I'm really not jealous because I really am on the other side of that. I don't desire that sin. And as long as I don't desire that sin, it doesn't bother me so much that somebody else has it. I just feel bad for them. But if you're still shaking your finger, if you're still sitting in condemnation with other people, if you're still judging all the time, folks, you really need to check that in yourself, honestly. Because jealousy is not what you should be feeling. It really should be mourning. You really should be feeling badly about what they're going through and why they're sinning. And obviously we all sin, but those people that mourn for their sins have their relationship with Jesus, and that makes all the difference in the world. So what are you today? Do you mourn for other sins, or are you sitting in judgment? Where's your relationship with God? Do you mourn your own sins? Have you had a change of heart where you've fallen in love with Jesus Christ, and sin becomes something you mourn and not just something you try not to do? Food for thought. God bless you. Have a great day.